Just popped the lead off one of these wires, look on the cap. Everything looks clean under here. No real corrosion, so I'm feeling confident with using this distributor cap on here, with considering how everything else is kind of old and worn, and just use that to try and crank this thing up. I'm going to try and make heads and tails of this distributor, see if his numbering on all of the heads of all of the spark plug wires work out. If not, I'll just go ahead and relabel and get this thing back in time. Looks like that's the way the cap wants to go, and our number one is here, but if we're top dead center, that's not the way we want our number one to be. So that doesn't really work out for us then. Right now our rotor is pointing right here, so this is where, since the engine is at top dead center, our first spark plug wire, the number one, should be lined up on the cap with this one and sending it down to the number one cylinder, which is over here, so this way we're in time. So we're gonna have to rearrange it. That's garbage. The hell is that? There's a whole bunch of trash actually sitting down here in the boot, so you don't want to stick that on the end of your spark plug and then have it not making any contact because there's garbage in there. So I'm gonna clean that out really quick. There we go, we're a lot cleaner now, and now this will actually contact when we put this on the tip of the spark plug wire. I'm showing you on cylinder number 3 here, but number 1 here, same idea. That's going to connect down there just like that. And now we'll go ahead and get this wire on spark plug number 1, and you hear the little click. She's on there. Now we'll route the rest of them. This one called 5. So that would be 1, 3, 5. What do we got here? Yeah, I'm just going to redo all these plug wires. I'm going to go with the ones that seem that they are cut to the right lengths for the given spark plug. From like the farthest ones from the plugs, obviously we're given the longest wires to, and the ones closer to the distributor, spark plugs, we're getting the shorter ones. So right now you've got your 8, 6, 4, 2. So then I'm just gonna relabel everything up here and we'll rewire stuff. Got these two vicious beasts going at each other. Yep, it's another night in the Finelli household. All right, so we got the rotor pointing right here in this direction, and then once we get our cap up top, you can see as we pop her off that it's lined right up with this guy right here, which conveniently says 1 on the rotor too. So imagine that. That's where we're going to start, with number 1 being right here, going down to the number 1 plug wire on cylinder number 1, which is right here. So number 1 here to number 1 there, and then we're just going to continue on with our firing order. Rotation of the distributor is this direction, counterclockwise, and our firing order 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. So number 8, which is back there, should be next up, followed by 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. So when I popped this plug wire off the cap, the end actually snapped off and was left inside of the top of the distributor, which isn't too hard of a fix. So you just want to cut the wire if this is all frayed and crappy, like it was kind of beat up at the end. And I've got this kind of trick wire cutting tool, so this guy right here will actually cut the wire right down to the center part, which actually gets most of your spark going. You just want to fold this guy back down underneath, and then on the side where the opening is, you put that opposite 180 degrees away from it, like that. And you get your cool little crimpy tool and set it up, and crimps it right back into place. Now that little lead is captured under there, and then we can go ahead and, so this is our number 1357 wire. So this is 1, so that would be 2, 7. So this is going to wind up over here, and pop this into the distributor. cap and then push our booty back down on there. Like that. So we got number 1, number 8 coming up next in our firing order. Should be right here. Alright, and then we've got 4, which is 2, 4, so that's this guy. And then I'll get these all set on the top of the distributor cap at first, and then play with fishing them underneath each other and getting everything to lay flat and nice. If it was a nice finished product. Right now we're just making things run. So number 3 is next, which is this guy. Pass him under here. Alright, 6. So that is this one. Wait a second. 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is 6. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one before. This is 8. So 1, 8. So this guy is actually here. That's our number 8. And then this is our number 6. 3, 6. Followed by number 5, which should be 1, 3, 5. Right here. The number 7 is already back there. And then number 2, which is this guy. Hang on, who are we missing here? Oh yeah, this is number 2, that's 4. So number 2 right there. Thanks. So now the only thing that remains is our wire from our distributor, oops, bigger one here, up to our ignition coil. So now we've got everything wired to be timed correctly, assuming that the top dead center 0 marking on the harmonic balancer is correct. When we go to crank this thing up, it should fire off pretty close to good, assuming the whole rest of the engine isn't garbage. So yeah. You having fun with your little brother? Yeah. What's up, buddy? What is next now here? Fuel will be last. Alright, let's get some lubrication. So some mystery oil. Marvell is pretty good at lubricating a lot of stuff. So kind of get this poured down. And get this poured down over the rocker shaft and kind of pre-lube a little bit of our valve train. I'll get some engine oil in there too. Not so precision on that pour. Don't want anyone knowing I spilled oil. Okay, next order of business is, hopefully this carburetor isn't junk.
Probably is.
Probably is. I'm gonna set up my ghetto gas tank. Do a little bit more hand crank here. Kind of get stuff moved around. Okay, and then we'll get, once we get the battery in here, we'll run it over, we'll crank it over a bit with the starter too and just let it lubricate itself. I'll pop the coil wire off the distributor so it won't turn over. Probably won't turn over the first time anyway because cut it out. Dogs. This here is my gas tank. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Now we've got no fan connected. Oh
my god.
Luckily it's not that full. Tricked you. So alternator isn't going to be spinning, fan is going to be spinning, just the lower crank dampener is going to be spinning. So what I'm going to do is hook up this contraption, which is just a little battery powered fuel pump, a little electric fuel pump. So I'll touch the leads onto the battery once I get it in here, and it'll draw fuel out of this tank, and then it'll draw it right here to the carb and kind of get us going for our fun ride here in the backyard. If you guys watched a couple of years ago, I made a video of me trying to solve some engine problems with my 84 W250 Ram, and I used this contraption on it. So it may look familiar to some of you. I think I'm ready to get a battery, run a ground wire from the battery to the block, and give her a crank. We'll have Alex jump in the cab and see if it actually turns over on the key, which will be cool. If it doesn't turn over on the key, we can still use a little electric starter we got. It's a little remote starter switch, so you can run these two leads over and just bump it like this. But hopefully she turns up on the key. So what was I doing again? All right, we got ourselves a battery, and get this out of the way.
Do you want me to record?
Please. Will you guys stop for 2 minutes, please? I'm trying to make a video here for the people. This battery sits around a little bit. It likes to get a little bit of freaking dogs erosion. Okay, so it's gonna run our ground over here. So we're gonna do, I think, probably the battery like this. You don't understand at home what it's like having to deal with these wild animals out here. Actually, you probably do. You've probably got a dog of your own. Alright, so where's my tool, babes? Ow. Ground cable here, going to the block, and of course that's too short. So, wait a second, where's our positive cable?
Let's do it.
One. I guess it needs one. How's it look over on this truck?
Don't take my cord.
I'm not taking it, I'm just seeing how it works, babe. Jazz. And get us a nice clean spot here for the ground off the block. So now this guy can contact some good metal right there. And then there's our negative battery cable. And then we just need to run a positive from here. And we'll run our positive cable from this guy right here and join over here. And we'll steal it off of Alex's out the truck real quick. It is a whopping 50, where are we at? 58 degrees outside right now, but Alex ain't having it. She's cold. Okay.
I'm cold-blooded, alright?
She is. She's cute-blooded. Okay, it's still a positive cable from her other truck because...
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that one just goes in here and joins up with the other party. And now we can plug this guy in to the battery.
To the battery?
Oh. All right, and no one got electrocuted so far. That's good. Please help me.
Help yourself.
Okay, so now we've got battery, cable, action, ground, so block. That's what we're missing here. So this is where the zap is gonna happen. Zap, nothing. Cool. Where's my wrench? And our ground has been found. Okay. Haven't heard anything zap away and melt yet. Haven't heard things zap and melt yet, so I'm gonna connect the throttle cable real quick so you can actually sit in there and pump the pedal, and then we'll get my fuel pump going. So let me do that, and we'll see you guys when we're cranking. I also like to hook up my auxiliary charger just to keep the battery
I hate you.
tended to as we're doing this. So this way, yeah, we're charging now. As we're bumping it, because we don't have the alternator hooked up, so it's not going to be recharging the battery. We don't
You're from
kill it.
Kansas? Alternator?
So we don't got the fucking alternator charging the fucking battery. The alternator ain't charging the battery. So this thing kind of keeps the battery tended to a little bit so we don't drop. You filming again?
Yeah.
Pain in my ass. All right, now listen. It's all right. I did black for ground. I did yellow for positive. That's all I had. Okay, bite me. Ground. So right now it's sucking fuel out of my tank, but the hose is probably not in the gas, so it ain't sucking shit. I have to finagle it a little bit. You see fuel yet?
No.
Okay, the hose might be so curled under itself that it's not actually.
Uh-oh.
So we'll get these alternator wires out of the way real quick. Those wires go over there. Okay, so there's really not much gas in here because I'm lazy and I didn't want to go down the street and fill this thing up. So just need this thing to curl right down to this bottom corner like here and suck up on that fuel. So I think we're in there. Now let's see, if we see gas coming up here, we'll know we are doing all right. Negative, positive. Seeing gas? I saw it. Did you see it?
No.
It did though. We will hold that under there and kind of rig this guy like that. So now we're sending fuel full time. Okay, babe, we'll give it a go. Do we get ignition? Is the question. Give it a go. Nothing? Damn. All right, let's take our fuel pump off for a second. All right. It doesn't want to go on the key. Try now. Okay. Nothing. So now we'll try it with the hand key. Let's actually use this cool starter wire thing I got one time and make this be our method of starting. So. Screw it. Screwdriver. Well, the starter is working, but it sure is not engaging the flywheel.
No, it's not.
That's lame. Fail. Why?
What?
Well, he doesn't have the engine connected to the transmission, but that's okay because we don't need to turn the transmission right now. So I still need you to do the same thing. pass me the camera though, I will record what's happening down here. The big ass wires coming out of it.
Yeah.
And then you see right kind of like behind it to the left, there's that one exposed looking wire that the other little red wire. Just touch the flat part of the screwdriver, just basically make them connect on each other. Get it, babe. Okay. Duh. So, yeah. The starter is contacting the flywheel, but the damn flex plate isn't connected from the engine to the flywheel, which is on the torque converter, so I need to connect these bolts real quick, and then we can actually start the engine. So, yeah. Babe, hit it again real quick. Okay. All right, and our 4 torque converter bolts, I'll go ahead and get these tightened up real quick, and then we can actually start this damn thing. You notice as we hit the socket, which is on the bottom of the balancer to the chassis, if it grounds out, we've got a mystery fuel pump, it sounds like, somewhere, just having a good time.
It's gotta be in the. You're supposed to put it in the bed of the truck.
And it's still wired?
Yeah.
It has to be. Jesus Christ.
It's right here somewhere.
We found the culprit.
It's backwards.
Well, that'll do it.
Wait, no, it's not.
Why is it grounding through the engine like that, though? It's so weird.
Oh, it's because there's just a loose wire right here. This
Oh.
was laying on the chassis like that.
So when it was touching, it was getting...
I don't know, I didn't lift it up.
Okay, well,
I'm scared.
we go like this. Just move it away. Now let's see if it does it. Yep. Beats me. Get a little fuel pump going again. Mystery Mopar grounding issue off the bottom of the crank to the fuel pump in the back. Beats me. Alright, but we got gas to the carburetor right now. That's what matters. Let's get this thing cranking over. It cranks. It probably won't go over though because the key isn't to the ignition, so I'm just gonna keep it.
Are you going to do that?
I'm just gonna let it rotate a couple times right now to get oil going. We know we've got the engine cranking right now, but I don't have the key on, so it shouldn't fire over just yet. I'm gonna let it spin for another couple of rotations just to get some good oiling going on because I don't have my oil priming tool. Let it build up a little oil pressure. Looks like all of our valves are opening and closing. Okay, moment of truth. Key is on. I'm gonna throw a little bit of fuel down the choke. Okay. Could be a lot of reasons why it's not firing. Might have the distributor out. Could be a ground issue with the coil. Could be ignition module here maybe isn't liking it. Let's see if we got spark. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this wire off, and as we rotate it, if we're getting spark from the coil going here to the distributor, we should be seeing a little bit of arcing of electricity coming across to there. So let's see if I can set it up for you guys. No zappy? No. Game, babe. Nope. So we don't have spark. Why don't we have spark? Probably something to do with the coil and all its funky wiring over there at the bulkhead. I just ran my voltmeter and I've got 12 volts over there at the coil. So I don't know, maybe I need to just hook up the alternator, I'm not the best person when it comes to electrical by any means, but I think, you know, we've got 12 volts down here. Somewhere in this wiring, it's not getting electricity down to our distributor right now, so let me figure that out. We're looking for around 12.5, 12.6 volts. Power is coming right here to this wire, going to the alternator. This wire here also, and this wire has got power, so I'll hook those up. Maybe I'm just being dumb, because I figured since the car isn't going to be charging the battery right now, we don't need the alternator going. Lastly, let's make sure that these wires going into the distributor are getting power, so we can ground here to the alternator. Yep, so we got voltage there and there, so the distributor is getting voltage. Now the distributor also could just be junk, so I'm going to hook up the alternator real quick, and then if that doesn't work, we'll just swap out distributors. Big wire goes onto the big stud. Should probably turn the key off so I don't get zapped, since I know these wires are alive. But that would just be the easy thing to do, wouldn't it? Not get zapped right now. So we got over here at the lead coming off the coil, 12.68 volts. So we know that we're getting power to the coil, coming out of the coil, which should be going here to the distributor. We know we've got power going to the alternator here. So it's either the alternator itself and some of the electronics in it, or maybe the coil wire, or just some of these wires are just shot, but I don't know. I'm gonna check this coil wire out real quick. That lead looks fine. That lead looks fine. We should be seeing, if I go like this and rotate the engine right now, we should see spark jump off of this guy to the block. Where's a good ground? We can go right here to that water pump. So we should see spark jumping if we are getting power from the coil out. Here we go. Power isn't leaving the coil. Doesn't make sense though, because if you've got 12 volts there, it should be shooting out lightning towards us.
Unless it's bad.
Yeah. The only thing could be the wire. So that's a quick fix. Let's try a different coil wire.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, that's plugged in there. Plugged in over here. Oh, the starter has come undone. Fun. So we're trying a different wire on the coil. Let's see if that works. Nope. Are we getting sparkulation? No, we're not.
I'm telling you, it's a bad coil.
Okay, got another one of those. Try one of my spare MSD coils. Why can't I figure out what size this fucking thing is?
It's probably millimeters.
Wire goes to which one on our coil? I don't know. Okay, so the new coil's in. I'm gonna plug the battery cable back on, and then we're gonna go get my voltmeter here, see if we're still getting power to the new coil, and then jump it again, or bump it again with the screwdriver, and see if we actually get spark jumping out of the coil, the ignition coil wire. So hopefully we do. So we'll go back to our original coil wire here, but first I'm gonna check voltage. So I've got 12.9 volts right here to this wire on the coil. 12.9 here as well. So we know we've got power going to the coil. Now we'll check the lead coming out of the coil. 12.9. Okay, that's promising. So now, plug in to our coil. So now, oh wait, no, I put the wrong one on here. Yeah, because this one needs a different booty. Because MSD takes a big fat booty on the coil. So we'll steal this from over here.
Take 2.
Alright. Take 29,648. Screwdriver, magical screwdriver. And place the ground out. And see some zapping, hopefully. No zappies, so it wasn't the coil either. What the hell's going on here? I'm gonna run a chassis ground from the block to the chassis because I don't see it having one, and maybe that's why it is, and that's why maybe we were grounding from the block to the chassis before. Hearing that fuel pump going, Jesus Christ. Maybe that was kind of like a sign telling us, hey, we're getting the chassis ground here, because I don't know why that fuel pump was going, but regardless, that could be it too. If the engine isn't grounded to the chassis, you're not gonna get any circulation. Yeah. And do I get zapped is the question. Let's grab this with your tail. Alright, we're not getting zapped, and that's a good thing. Grounds on grounds. Lights came on the cab.
Oh, that's cool.
And now that fuel pump is going, I bet you we might have fire now. Because things are happening that weren't happening before. So let's see what happens here. Are we getting spark? Ow, yeah, we're getting spark. Alright, chassis ground. That's what we needed. Alright, now we need some fuel action here.
Top fuel pump.
Fuel pump. It's getting itself a little workout there. Okay. Hopefully that thing doesn't come up battery too good here. Alright, let's try it again. Wish us luck.
Oh my god,
It's gonna go. It sort of came out.
Oh man. So close.
So close. Wish us luck. Let me get a bolt that actually fits it. Oh, and now. Here we go. Maybe the last time, hopefully. Oh, you heard it?
Mm-hmm.
Get a little bit more fuel down the throat. Here we go. I think we're 180 out. Alright, so I just pulled out the distributor from where it was. So basically I'm gonna crank the motor over by hand right now and then look down into the shaft where the distributor goes, and then just be careful not to rotate this because I want this lined up with our plug wires still in our firing order. But basically gonna get the engine 180 degrees the other direction. And then give her a shot. At least we know we got a good amount of oil moving around in it. So now I've got it spun back around. There we go. So theoretically speaking, if I was 180 out, I've now just rotated the engine 180 degrees and we should be in timing because I know all of our plug wires are going in the correct order to the right cylinders. And it just sounded like it was out. It was just kind of kicking back on us. So, okay, wish us luck.
Take 5,000.
Take 6,202. That's gonna go.
We're gonna get the cops called on us. It's like after 10:30. Open headers.
It's our neighborhood, all right?
No big deal.
We own this place.
It's like 40 degrees outside. Freezing.
Totally go. Just needs a little more fuel. Running into the fuel. Down that way. Come on, babes. So for some reason, our little electric fuel pump here isn't filling the bowls in the carb. Maybe it's just, I don't care at this point. We're just gonna do this. Plug this thing back in. And we're gonna put a little fuel in this way. Instead of something bad. Okay, boys and girls. Thanks for tagging along for this wild, mad night. As it all comes down to, sometimes in life, you just gotta be grounded. Chassis ground to the block. It's funny though, because we heard that fuel pump in the back of the truck going off before when we were grounding off the block to the chassis with the big ratchet. We're like, what is this all about? That's another issue in and of itself, but regardless, it kind of told us without telling us, hey, you need a chassis ground. So once I got that figured out, me messing around with different coils and everything, it didn't matter, it all works. But bottom line, this thing sounds really good and rowdy. It sounds like it has really good compression. And I'm exhausted. But thanks for tagging along with this. A lot more to come for this truck, but we know it's actually a runner, so catch you on the next episode. And just for my own satisfaction, I wanted to know if that Mallory ignition coil was working, so I just hooked the battery back up one more time and we should see spark hop off of this wire coming off the coil onto this part of the carburetor. So what do we got here? It works. So it wasn't the ignition system at all, as we knew. It was just the ground. And we know that coil works and that wire, so yeah, good to go. Really, really, really cold at night. Because I put the engine kind of back together, dressed it up a little bit, and it looks pretty good. So long, 78, Power Wagon. Good night. Till we meet again.